Hello and welcome. This is Ruth Hamilton, and today I have a video for Tonic Studios, and it's the brand new Designer's Choice series of die sets, and this one is Easter themed, so spring is in the air at last. Now this looks really lovely. I think it would be, because it's a spring themed Easter one, I'll actually just show you what it says on these sentiment dies here. One of them says, I need a piece of card to show you. One of them says, hopping by to say hi, and the other one says, Happy Easter. So I think we need some nice bright paper or card to use with that, and of course, you know I love this colour, so I've been drawn to that, and I have got some left out already. But anyhow, I want to show you the dies first, and then we'll move on to making something. So as you know, when I get a new die set, first of all, I always like to look and see, are there elements in the die set that I'll be able to use again and again? And yes, there's plenty of them here. So there's a scalloped oval, and then some smaller ones inside here. You can see this one with a dashed line around it, if I could just get it out. This one. And then we have another scallop in a smaller oval, and then one with a dotted line. So although those are Easter sentiments, or the hopping by to say hi one, you could use these ovals with lots of different things. Now you can see there, this is what Tonic call a verso die. So it has a cutting edge on the inside but not on the outside. So that will cut a pattern into your card, but you'll need to use this one with it to actually get a piece that is cut out of the card, because this is the outside cutting edge. And it's exactly the same thing on the smaller one as well here. And then on this one we've got the same thing again, what would be the backing plate or the outside die. But this one, and I haven't actually cut this one out yet, but I can see already that this one has cutting edges on the inside and the outside, so that would be a standalone die, but you could set it on top of this one to make it pop, because the insides come out of that as well. So we've got all of those, and then there are little flowers that you can put together. A beautiful little butterfly. I always mark my sets that have the butterflies in, because I go back to those again and again. I love adding a little butterfly at the end onto a card, but by now you probably know that I'm an absolute animal lover, if you've seen any of my videos before. So I did have a lovely little rabbit for many years, and I'm always drawn to lovely little rabbit die cuts as well. So there's a cute little standing up rabbit and one sitting down, and we'll have those on my card, I'm sure, at least one of the cards. So I shall set this aside and then have a look at what we can make with it. I've started off with a 5x7 card, because that really suits this oval shape beautifully. And then I've taken the die that I mentioned earlier that has no outside cutting edge. So what I've done is I've placed it into the centre of the card and run, this way up, and run that through the die cutting machine. Now you must remember, when you're putting that through the die cutting machine, have the card opened and just put it through flat like this, otherwise you're going to cut that through the back and the front. And the other thing is, try to stop your machine going any further. You'll feel when you move the handle when it has cut over that second edge there. And if your plates are like mine and they're well used and there's some marks on them, it's probably better not to just run it right over the edge of this one as well, just in case you mark the back of the card. Alternatively, you could actually put a piece of paper or something over that, and that way you're not going to get marks on that, you'll just get it on the paper. But how I do it is just, I kind of know when you feel as you're moving the handle around, you know that you've come over one side and then you've come over the other. And obviously we're going this way, feeding it through this direction. So that's done, and we have this beautiful shape cut out of the card there. I have picked some powder blue lace Speciality card, and I've cut that to just slightly smaller. I actually cut it to, I'll just mark it here, 12.5 by 17.5, and then I have taken this die and I have cut that out of the centre of that one. Now what you can do is, if you don't get that exactly lined up, leave a little bit of clearance around the outside. It means that you can manoeuvre this around just slightly, and a lovely little border around there will be fine, and that shows that off beautifully. and then we'll go ahead and glue that on. But don't forget that you've got this piece. Don't dispose of that. That's going to be very useful in a moment or two. But I'll go ahead and glue this one on. Now I had picked out some of this Arctic Blue, I think it's called. Yes, Arctic Blue double face satin ribbon. It's the Craft Perfect, and this one is 9mm wide. And I want some of that across the top. Now I could have put it on before I stuck this down, but I've left this bit up just slightly. And I've added some double-sided tape on the back of that. I'm going to put it across here and tuck it in, and then you can see there, and then tuck that in like so, and then glue that down at the top. And I'll just add an extra little bit of glue. Now I just held on to that and didn't let it the glue go down properly first of all, so that I could put that on. And then I've got a little bow which I will add on there at the end with some hot glue from my glue gun, which I don't have on at the moment because I don't like that on beside me while I'm working. So I have then taken another piece of white card, which is the same size as this, but I've added an extra ½ inch, or it's 1.5 centimeters, I think that is there roughly. Yes, just slightly smaller than 1.5 centimeters on one side of it there. And I have folded the tab back, but left that tab flat first of all before I've die cut. And again I've done the same thing, but what I did this time was I placed that inside there like so, and got it exactly in the right place in the card, and then I set this die onto it. I know that's exactly in the center of the oval. Lift this up, bring it out, and then leave this flat and put that through the die cutting machine, and that cuts out this piece and leaves me this lovely area here. You will also then have this lovely piece that you can use again. And now I'm going to attach that onto this part here. But then I have the large oval that I cut out. I'm going to put that inside here, like so. And when I have that all glued together, then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to finish that. I have used these two dies together on white card, and that says Happy Easter, and I'm going to glue that on the center there, and you'll be able to see that through the two layers of the card. I think lots of white on this is just making it really pop, and I really love that turquoise colour. I mentioned that a lot, I suppose. Anyhow, I shall just glue this on, and I think the best way to do that then is to close the card over again and center that in there, and that way you know you're going to get that in exactly the right place. You can open these both up again, and I always like to press that down as far as I can there, and then turn it over and just burnish the back with your thumb, and that gets everything flattened down nicely. So there we are. That's that part so far. Then I have die cut the beautiful little rabbits. One is going to go on here and the other is going to go on here. Do you know, those rabbits are absolutely so cute, and I love the way that you could use them side by side as well. But there we are, there, and this one. I'll go and turn my glue gun on, and I'll be back in a moment. So I've glued my bow on, and I die cut this little butterfly and I've put it on here. And now I've got some of these fresh mint metallic crystal drops, soft mint metallic crystal drops, and I'm going to add just one or two. I actually quite like the fact that this has just got two colours at the moment, but for a tiny little pop I'm going to add a couple of these. Now always try that out first so you don't get a big blob whenever you come to put them on here. And there we are. I think that's enough. I don't want to overdo that one. So isn't that a lovely card? It's a kind of a tunnel card. Tunnel I think is the name for it, where you can see through 2 or 3 different layers. Now you may have noticed I should have stood up whenever I was putting this on, because this is perfectly centred through the centre of the card there, but this is slightly more to the left than it is to the right there. So I thought it looked a bit odd, but it was too late to take it off and I'd have to start the card all over again. So what I did then to sort of disguise that as much as I could was cut out 2 more little bunny rabbits and put them on this side, and then that kind of looks like that space was meant for them. So there you are. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I will be back in a minute or 2 with another one. For my second card then again, I have used a 5x7 card blank and the powder blue lace Speciality card again on the front, and I've cut that to 12x17 just to go on here, and I'm going to add that on with some double-sided tape. Now I've chosen some Miami Mint Speciality card as well because it goes really well with that. It's a beautiful colour, and I have used the background die. That's this one, and I showed you this earlier. That cuts out the flat sort of plain background, but this one, unlike the last one which was a verso die, this actually cuts a piece out like so. So you've got this lovely white sort of filigree piece, and that fits on there, and you could actually just use that on its own onto the card, but I thought it just looked really lovely on that Miami Mint there. So I'm going to glue all of this together, put that on there, and then I have used these 2 dies together, and this says hopping by to say hi, and then I have, that gave me the white element here, and I've used this little die with the powder blue lace, and I have backed that onto that, and I'm going to put that in there. Put it on some 3D foam pads this time. Now what I want to do before I actually glue this panel or stick this panel down, I'm going to put all these elements on here, sort of just the way they are first of all, and then I'm going to come back and do a little faux embossing. And I must not forget that if I'm hopping by to say hi, it's got to have rabbits on it, because otherwise that's just silly, isn't it? So the rabbits just make that sentiment, and I'm going to do all of that first. So I'll assemble all this and then I'll come back and do the next technique. Now the reason why I didn't want to put this onto the card first of all was because I have used these 2 dies to cut out lots of little flowers, and I've cut them out in the same powder blue lace card that I've used for the background here, and I want to do a little bit of what is called faux embossing. So you take some card or paper the same as the coloured background and add a 3D element onto it, so it's just sitting up, and I want that to look as natural as possible so that it does look like it is actually embossed. So some of this will be over the edge there. I'll glue all this down, but once I do that I may need actually to die cut a few more, but some of it will be hanging off the edge, and I want to have these glued on first of all, and then I'll be able to just snip those pieces off, and then it looks like it was already there in the first place. To what I think beautiful Easter cards. Beautiful not because I made them, but beautiful because the dies are really gorgeous and the papers and card are just so fresh and beautiful, and the colours are amazing. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. Then you can hit the notification bell, and that means you'll be notified anytime there's a new video goes on, and that means you won't miss any of them. And please do come back and see me again soon. In the meantime, if any of you are interested in buying any of these dies, even the dies or the papers or whatever, I will have my affiliate links down below in the description. So feel free to check those out, and thank you very, very much in the meantime. Bye bye.